If you're more patient against a pusher, you're just going to be out there longer. Today I'm going to help fellow YouTuber Kevin. Don't call him Lee because it's Lang. I did watch his video and good courage on him to post it. Losing to a slice pusher. They are the most annoying of the pushers until you get to a very accomplished level. There are three types of pushers, Kevin. There's moonballers, there's slicers, the hackers. You got taken out by the slicer. And you also have the wall pushers that they just literally are just gonna kind of use your energy, not create a lot of energy on the ball. And any combination of the three is obviously a problem. So I watched through Kevin's match. When you're engaging with pushers, this is not a normal match. Remember, a pusher is someone who only pushes, that's their only skill set. A tennis player will push, because remember, Federer will chip, and he was pretty good. So the slice has its value. Also, if you want to see a gem of a interview, I believe Kyrgios is talking about the most difficult thing to deal with Roger, not so much the forehand, it's the ability to chip the return nice and low, and now it's very difficult to attack him. So inherently, the slicer will force you into these more difficult situations. You noticed in the match that the more energy you put, the better he did, and also for you, that is also a good observation. Now, where most coaches will fail all over YouTube, including some of the big name ones that like to say a lot of ooh la las, they only give you vagaries of what to do. You need to create specific scenarios and have a specific skill set within each scenario, so that you're able to mow through these pushers. So I'm gonna the one that is when you're dealing with the slicer is you are gonna be kind of inside the baseline, and you will be dealing with some of these low balls, and you need to have, that's what I sent you in the comments, you need to be able to switch the grip and throw in some chip inside out. You could work on the drop shot too to complement the inside in. Remember, tennis is a sport that you want to have complementary skills. It does you no good to have a power inside in and only a power inside out to complement it. You'd want to go power inside in and then a nice Alcaraz inside out drop shot to complement the powerful inside in. If you're only going to have two skills, obviously in a perfect world we have all the skills, all the skills in all the world, and life is easy, but that is not the reality. So this is primarily for you, Kevin, but there are players that suffer dealing with these slice pushers. So let me show you exactly the skill set you want to develop and how you'd go about achieving that. So what you want to do is start slightly off center from behind the service line, and all you're doing is little low ball training. And what I would recommend is work on moving around, and then you're working on hitting that inside in. So that shot has to feel very, very comfortable. You want to be really comfortable moving around and snapping that inside in, okay? So that's obviously skill one. You already have that, but now you got to have a complementary skill for it. And so what you want to train yourself to do is, as the ball is about to bounce, that you're able to switch the grip and find your inside out chip. I need you to make 5 in a row, Kevin, from the service line, and then scoot back to a few steps. And then once you get, so you can see where I am now, all the way to the baseline. So you'd go maybe level 2, level 1 service line, level 2 somewhere around here. And the level 3, you want to be this, I'm just kind of skipping level 1 to 3. There's a 2 in between there. Kevin, I trust you will do level 2. Then you're going to start from here, and that's where the game is going to get played. You got to be able to keep him off balance with that inside in, and then also throw in that inside out slice. That slice, preferably, we want 2 bounces in the box, or the second bounce off the singles court. You need to make 5 in a row, Kevin. I've already explained that. If you've seen any of my systems, 5 in a row is the magic number to get you to 90%. And the one thing that pushers do understand is their error rate will very rarely fall below 10%. And what I watch in most matches is that players are delusional and hover above that 10% error rate. And now you're screwed going against any sort of type of pusher because their error rate never goes above that. So that is skill 1, Kevin. That's the one I want you to put in. That'll make your life a lot easier. If you have the time and you want to crush them completely and utterly, you can add this one, show your underspin early, and hit that deep chip forehand back inside in. Again, I have all of these skills mapped out. I have multiple books, and my pusher book is probably the Why You Lose to Worse Players. That is, to me, the one that if you are on your road to, you want to clear that 10 UTR, you achieve all those skills, it is hard not to be at least an 11 with all those skills. So that is something for you. Just touch base with me. Maybe I send you a copy. So anyways, we're going now. The second skill, when you're dealing with any type of pusher, you need to be able to generate a parabola ball. There are loops, and then there's a parabola ball. Okay, a parabola ball is basically a more ridiculous version of the loop, but you're injecting a lot of spin, so it's a spinny ball. So you don't want like a little push parabola ball that doesn't really do too much. You want it to jump, so that forces them to either play on the rise, which is innately, pushers don't want to do that, and it doesn't give them very much pace to work with. So that'll force his hand. He's either gonna have to come up, or now you got him scooting way back, chipping, and you're gonna get, it is hard to hit a chip really low when you're really far back. So that's why I sent you that. That is, so it's very easy to work on this little parabola ball. You just start a few, you're gonna get a lot of balls here. So it's primarily when he gives you a deep slice, because once you're inside the baseline, now you can, those little slice games will tend to, you can hurt him with your own slices. When you're behind the baseline though, you wanna send that ball up, nice, up and jumpy, more spinny than pace. So do not get caught trying to, that was what happened to you, is you're blasting through. That is a big no-no, especially if you want to, if you want to really embarrass the pushers, you throw them that ball. I almost feel bad for them. There was a stretch. One time I did deal with the slice pusher, similar to what you had to deal with. And then once I started throwing that in, I really felt bad because you start to see they're like fish out of the water when you start putting them in certain situations. So, use that in when you're behind the baseline and you have a little time. And they're not going to attack that ball because inherently it's a pusher. When you play against other pushers that actually have some firepower, you got to be careful with that ball, because if you leave that short and they got a little bit of game, then they can then they can hurt you off that ball. But usually that's not the case, so don't worry about that. All right, Kevin, final skill for you. You had a host of putaways up around here, and you're going to need to start from the service line, toss that ball up, and you're going to need to skid that ball, and that thing needs to run off the court. Same thing, second bounce, preferably off the sideline. So you got to really work on getting around that volley. So that's your inside out forehand volley. That one, same thing. I need 5 in a row, Kevin. Don't cheat my 5 in a rows. It won't be good for you. And then your complementary skill is just the inside in. Make sure it goes with some depth, so you have that inside out, inside in volley. And then also, you also miss a number of these as well. We want to make sure you have that high backhand angle, and then this low forehand inside out drop shot. Those two skills, if you can execute those at a high enough, it doesn't need to be perfect. You just need to be, in that 70-80% range. It probably, you edited out some points, so that's tough to tell what the numbers actually were. But yeah, you definitely had some putaways there. So those three. If you add those three, the score will not be 2-2. And if it is, he's really had to add something to his game. You're just making the game more difficult for him the next time you encounter him. Hopefully that helps. Remember that my system is the most precise how to beat a pusher system. There is zero fluff as far as, and no ambiguities of just be more patient. Remember, if you are more patient against a pusher, you're just going to be out there longer. You must create specific sequences and patterns and scenarios, and then know when to skills and when to employ them. That's why most of the coaches you see on YouTube, they actually have no idea how to properly dismiss each pusher type. Each pusher type has a specific skill set to dismantle. In my book, I go, Why You Lose to Worst Players. That is basically a guide to over, if you include the serving skills, over, 100 skills to dismantle all pusher types. And so if you look through that, that is easily all you need to dismantle. If you want to go more in depth, I am having my course be released, online course. If you are interested in that, send me a comment down below. Coach VC's done.